Hey guys, in today's Christmas spot, we're going to be having a look at the Forever Fun Frosty the Snowman Deluxe figure with sound. So let's go ahead and get some measurements going. For Frosty, his base is about 8 inches in length. Then if you count to the top of the little girl's head, the figure is roughly about 7.5 inches totally in height. Moving Frosty to the side, Forever Fun, sounds familiar enough to you, also released this guy here as well, which I did do a review of many years ago. And I really did want to do a review of this guy this year as well. Unfortunately, one of the problems that is facing magical Frosty the Snowman is that he doesn't make any of the sound effects. I've now since tried new batteries, and actually, when I put this guy away initially, I took the batteries out. I thought to myself, take the batteries out just in case it leaks. So when I put the new batteries in, I didn't have to take anything out. There was nothing leaking. Put new batteries in. Tried the on and off switch several times, tried the hat several different times, looked at the inside workings of Frosty. I can't get him to make any sound effects, which, unfortunately, I won't be able to do a review of him this year. Unless you guys want to see a review of this Frosty, despite the fact he doesn't have any of the sound effects. Let me know down below. I would certainly be happy to oblige and re-review this guy for you guys. So we'll move him to the side. And then let's again have a look at this Frosty. In the packaging, this is Belly Whopper Frosty, but what's so funny about it is we bring the packaging in, rather old packaging. On the front, it says with bobbling Belly Whopper action. However, if you spin it around to the back of the box, they put Belly Whooper Frosty the Snowman. Clearly a spelling mistake. This is a 2010 release, so about 7 years old that this figure is. And I want to say figure, but I use the term very loosely. There's not really anything figure related about him. Nothing about him is posable. In fact, all he does is whop his belly down the hill, and he actually has a sound effect there as well. These sound effects are all coming from the bottom here via the speaker that's located underneath. Batteries are also included, and I didn't have to change batteries. 7 years later, batteries worked still just fine. Though I will take this out at the end of this review. I'm going to take the batteries out so I don't have to worry that the batteries are going to leak. On and off switch still there as well. So you switch it on and off respectively. Let's have a look first at, well, you know what? Let's have a look first at the little girl that's riding on top of Frosty. It doesn't really look like Karen to me. It looks instead like just a girl with a yellow jacket. I wish they had actually painted her in red to make her look at least a little like Karen. She comes with a broom. At the beginning of this review, I had the broom this way. The packaging shows it this way, but I guess it really doesn't matter either way. She does rotate slightly, and it doesn't, well, she's got very, very mild arm posability. Nothing, it seems like, in the head. And speaking of the head, there's a considerable amount of this orange paint that's been splattered. Not very considerably, carelessly, I would say more so. It's been splattered right across the top of her hat. It's not very clean looking paint. In fact, even in the areas of the boots, the paint is very, very badly applied. Luckily, Frosty doesn't seem to have that issue. He seems relatively unscathed by bad paint work. Bringing once again the packaging into play. The back of the packaging shows it almost more like a metallic silver that they gave to Frosty. Luckily, the in-hand Frosty is more just a more traditional white. Some nice texturing on Frosty's body, giving it the sense of snow. As well, there's the front of his face. Now, even though the rest of his body is not metallic, they favored giving him a metallic in the eyes. Painted in the inside of his mouth blue and gave him a very nice rosy cherry red nose there. The hat is not removable, so don't worry. Frosty will not go back to becoming a regular snowman. And he sits atop of this base, which provides, again, all these sounds from the cartoon. I say sounds, it's only actually just one phrase that it's sing, and actually it's just it's the Frosty the Snowman a song that it plays through. It doesn't play anything else, it doesn't play phrases, just the song. To activate the sound, by the way, of the song, to activate the songs, you're going to press the flowers on the base, the little crystal flowers. Before we do that, though, I want to talk about Frosty and the fact that he doesn't really stay in one place. He's a bobblehead, so really this ball joint that sits inside of his belly then sits in top with a spring. So basically, you'd have a spring here, ball joint here, base here. Because he's a bobblehead, the figure, and I use the term loosely for figure, just kind of springs up and down. It does rotate, yes, but I wish there was actually a way that the ball joint could have actually had the figure just sitting straight. I'd love to have Frosty facing kind of like this way, but unfortunately, just by the sense of gravity, he just does not stay in place. So that's one thing I really don't like about this, is that he doesn't have really the means to properly stay straight. A regular ball joint, I could have just adjusted it and stayed it, kind of kept it like this. Unfortunately, no, that's not the case. It's not the case. So let's go ahead and press the button here, and we'll play the Frosty the Snowman song. And you'd be surprised how long the song is. We'll press it once. And it's actually quite loud, too. All the sound is coming from the speaker underneath here. It doesn't also play the whole song. If you thought the whole song was going to be played, unfortunately you're going to miss out. It plays a few seconds at the beginning of the song. If you press the button again, it's only going to play the exact same song and the same amount of the song every single time. Oh, I wish it could have played the phrases. It could have played Frosty saying stuff, you know, happy birthday, you know, stuff like that. Unfortunately, it just only plays the Frosty song. So if you hopefully don't have children in your house always pressing it, that's the only thing you're going to hear the whole time, again and again. Frosty the Snowman. Frosty the Snowman was a jolly, happy soul, so on and so forth. Not a bad looking piece. Unfortunately, again, I wish that he had a little bit of better posability. Didn't flop around as much. And I wish that he actually was able to cycle through more than just the Frosty song. Yes, despite some shortcomings for poor Frosty here, he still is a really fun decoration. He's not really so much a figure as he is something that you can put on a shelf, maybe like, I don't know, like a fireplace mantle, and then you can put him out every single year for Christmas time. I can only hope, though, the sound effects do stay in this guy, unlike the Frosty that, well, the magical Frosty that unfortunately just can't play sounds anymore, and that's really disappointing, because I think I like the other one just a little bit more, that it does have the magical hat. Fortunately, it doesn't work anymore. This one I think is pretty good. This is a bit of a problem, the ball joint in Frosty, but I do like the fact that he plays at least the theme song from his cartoon. Karen on top of him wearing the more traditional red outfit, as opposed to, I don't even think this is really Karen sitting on top of his back, would have been a nice treat as well. Overall, you don't really get a lot of these toys out nowadays. This is not something that a lot of toy companies really approach anymore. It'd be fun to see some more recent outings for Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and stuff like that. It just seems like this is kind of like one of those toys that is just a time capsule of stuff that we used to get, and unfortunately we don't get anymore. You could get this guy fairly inexpensive on eBay. For example, I think I only paid about $30 or so for him. I think he's worth it from the standpoint that I can put him out on display every single year, but I wish that the ball joint worked a little bit better so that poor Frosty just didn't flop around. I get it that he's a belly whopper, but not to the point where he's flopping all over the place. I wish that could have been fixed a little bit on this toy. Today is today's magical video. We were having a look at the forever fun Frosty the Snowman. This was the deluxe figure with sound. Not quite a figure, but still a fun piece that you would want to put out every single year for Christmas time. Speaking of Christmas time, If you haven't already had a chance to hit that little subscribe button, certainly hit it right below this video. You'll never miss a beat when it comes to future videos coming onto this channel. More Christmas spots will be coming your way before the end of this month, so stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching as you always do, guys. See you next time.